Story Bugs.
Hello, welcome to Story Time. I'm glad you're here with us. I've got a good story tonight called Brock the Balloonist, and this is part of a series of books called Tales from Fern Hollow. That's the collection, and they are written and illustrated by John Patience. So tonight we're going to go up in a hot air balloon and see this adventure. All right. Brock Gruffy bustled around his little shop, puffing on his pipe like an old steam engine. He was trying to tidy the place up, but it was in such a terrible clutter that it was almost an impossible task. Brock was soon distracted from the job when he came across an enormous cardboard box, which he couldn't remember having seen before. What's this?" he muttered, adjusting his spectacles to read the label. "Hot air balloon! How exciting!" Brock dragged the box, which was very heavy, out into his garden, and following the instructions, soon had the balloon inflated. It was striped red and yellow, and it was absolutely gigantic. The badger climbed into the basket and untied the anchor rope, and the balloon floated up into the clear blue morning sky. Higher and higher it climbed until the houses of Fern Hollow looked like tiny little models. Soon Brock began to feel dizzy and decided to bring the balloon down a little. Unfortunately, the silly badger let out far too much air and found himself speeding towards the church steeple. "Oh no!" cried Brock, covering his eyes. Crunch! The basket hit the steeple and sent it crumbling to the ground. Oh no! Parson Dimly came rushing out of the vicarage, thinking there must have been an earthquake, and was amazed to see the enormous balloon floating away across the River Ferny, with Brock Gruffy in the basket, waving his arms around and shouting for help. At last the balloon came down on top of Sigmund Swamp's roof, crashing into his bedroom and giving the poor toad, who was still in bed, the fright of his life. I would not want to be woken up that way with the roof crashing down. Soon a crowd of animals had gathered around Sigmund's house, and P.C. Hoppet arrived on his bicycle looking very serious. Of course, Brock couldn't afford to pay for all the damage he had done, and P.C. Hoppet had no alternative but to arrest him. What a terrible thing to happen. Brock Gruffy was locked up in Fern Hollow jail and feeling, as you might imagine, very sorry for himself. I don't think he meant to do all that damage. Oh. The balloon was now anchored. That means tied down so it couldn't blow away. Anchored behind the police station, where Monty and Spud Tuttleby peeped out at it from their hiding place in the bushes. The two mischievous mice had decided they would like to try flying the balloon themselves. "Quick," whispered Monty, creeping across to the balloon. "Jump in and we'll be off before anyone notices." Once more the balloon floated up into the sky and, carried by the wind, quickly left Fern Hollow far behind. But Monty and Spud soon learned that flying a balloon was not as easy as they had imagined. They were flying low over an island in the Ferny when the basket caught in the branches of a crumbling old tree, and down fell the balloon, taking the tree with it. Oh, jeez. "Hey," called Spud, clambering out of the basket. "Look at this, Monty." Beneath the roots of the overturned tree was a treasure chest. It must be pirate gold, cried Monty, lifting the lid and running his fingers through the gold pieces. When Monty and Spud had recovered from their excitement, they realized that they were marooned. That means stuck out there with no one to help them. The balloon had burst and was quite useless. Luckily, Monty knew how to make a fire by rubbing 2 sticks together, and the unfortunate mice huddled round the flames as it grew dark. Somebody's going to be missing them, huh? Spud was almost falling asleep when Monty shook his shoulder and pointed at a light bobbing out in the river. "It's the pirates! Come back for their treasure!" he whispered. "No, it's not," cried Spud. "It's PC Hoppet and Sigmund Swamp. Hooray! We're rescued." Soon Monty and Spud were safely back home, and Mrs. Tuttleby was tucking them up in bed. The next day, the treasure was given to Brock Gruffy. After all, it would have never been discovered at all without Brock's balloon. Now the lucky badger had more than enough money to pay for the damage he had done, and so he was set free with a stern warning from PC Hoppet not to go messing around in balloons again. Monty and Spud got a good ticking off from PC Hoppet, too, but old Brock more than made up for that by making them both guests of honor at a celebration party. The end. Well, I think I would be happy to find some buried treasure. That was exciting. Thank you. Oh, I think I forgot to show you the last picture, didn't I? Heavens to Betsy. You want to see this feast that they had, don't you? I think that would be really fun to find some treasure and to go in a hot balloon. That's pretty fun. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. I hope you'll come back for another story, and we'll see you next time.